Have you ever felt deep in your soul a burning desire to be unshakable, to walk through life without criticism, rejection, losses, or betrayals shaking your balance? Perhaps in silence, this pain has settled inside you, an invisible anguish that consumes your being even when you smile at the world pretending to be okay. Perhaps you are tired of maintaining an image of constant strength when in truth you just want, for a moment, to rest from the pressure of being untouchable. This longing is universal, and yet many of us try to avoid what truly hurts us, believing that running away from pain is the key to peace. But as Carl Jung wisely said, we are not what happens to us, but what we choose to become. Avoiding suffering does not make us stronger. On the contrary, it keeps us prisoners of our own fears. On the contrary, it integrates, accepting, and bringing to light everything that today remains hidden in your shadow. True power does not lie in the absence of pain, but in the full awareness of who we are, even when we are bleeding. This is the strength that transforms. This video is about to begin a journey, not to deny pain, but to understand it, to embrace your humanity with courage and authenticity. If this call resonates with you, before we continue, consider subscribing to the channel. Here we explore the path of self-knowledge, deep awareness, and true inner freedom. Have you noticed that what hurts you most is not the actions of others, but what those actions awaken inside you? It is not the chosen words, the sufferings of abandonment, or unexpected betrayals that carry the power to destroy, but rather what you have not yet integrated into your own story, the old wounds that were never healed. Why do some people go through emotional storms with clarity, while others collapse at the slightest comment? It is not the external event that defines, but the inner place where the pain strikes. It is a delicate terrain that few have the courage to explore. However, there is an uncomfortable truth. As long as you believe you can control how the world treats you, you will remain trapped in cycles of suffering. The endless pursuit of being good enough, strong enough, or understood enough is an illusion that generates constant tension. Do you really want to stop suffering? Then it is time to stop protecting yourself from pain and start looking at it with more awareness. Your freedom begins when you realize that everything that comes from outside only has power if it finds an echo within you. And it is in this inner field, in the unconscious, that the true battle is fought. Carl Jung reminds us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That is why everything you feel, sudden anger, inexplicable sadness, is no accident, but rather an urgent call from your deep being which wants to awaken. Are you ready for this journey? To dive into the depths of your consciousness, face your shadows, and begin to choose your path with intention? If so, give this video a like to support this movement of transformation and self-discovery. Let's go together, because the path to becoming unshakable begins when we accept who we really are, with all our pains, shadows, and lights. Many believe that the pain they feel comes solely from external events, harsh words, betrayals, or losses inflicted by others. But the harsh truth is this: nothing outside of you holds power to hurt you unless there is already an unhealed wound within. What truly causes suffering is not the event itself, but the story you tell yourself about it. The trauma left unresolved, the emptiness masked by pride, the desperation to appear fine when inside you feel fractured. Carl Jung revealed that the pain we experience is a mirror reflecting what remains hidden in our unconscious. Some people can face calamity and retain clarity, while others crumble under minor criticisms. Not because life treats them differently, but because the pain strikes a vulnerable place inside. You might ask yourself, why do I still suffer so deeply? The uncomfortable answer is that you are still trying to control how the world should treat you. You seek to be good enough, strong enough, smart enough, as if these qualities could shield you from pain. But control is an illusion. As long as you cling to it, you live in tension, trying to predict the unpredictable, avoiding the inevitable. Freedom does not come from control. It comes from awareness. Your liberation begins when you stop waiting for others to change so that your pain will cease. When you realize that everything outside only holds power if it finds an echo within you. This is the battlefield, the unconscious mind, unseen and unmastered, directing your emotions and actions without your conscious consent. In the next part, we will dive deeper into how the unconscious shapes your life and how bringing it into awareness is the first step toward transformation. If this message resonates with you, consider subscribing and joining a community dedicated to deep self-awareness and growth. So far, we've uncovered that the real source of our pain lies within, in the unconscious parts of ourselves that we have neglected, ignored, or hidden away. But what exactly is this unconscious? It's not just a vague mist of forgotten memories. It's a powerful, living force that governs much of our emotional life and behavior. Carl Jung described the unconscious as a vast reservoir of memories, desires, fears, and unresolved wounds. These elements do not simply vanish when we turn away. They influence our reactions, shape our decisions, and often sabotage our peace without us even realizing it. Imagine the unconscious as a hidden puppeteer pulling strings beneath the surface. The anger that bursts out unexpectedly, the sadness that seems to arrive without reason, the patterns of self-sabotage, all are messages sent from this shadowy realm. To awaken is to bring these hidden parts into the light of awareness. This is not an easy task. It demands courage to face what we have long avoided, the fears, the shame, the vulnerabilities. But it is in this confrontation that true transformation begins. Becoming conscious of these depths means no longer being a passive victim to your emotions, but an active participant in your healing. You gain the power to choose your response rather than react blindly. In this awakening, the ego, the I we identify with, meets the unconscious shadows. It's a delicate dance of integration that can feel like both destruction and rebirth. Yet this is the path to becoming whole. As Carl Jung wisely put it, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. If this resonates, I invite you to reflect deeply on what parts of yourself remain unseen. Awareness is the first step. Subscribe to stay with us on this journey of discovery and integration. As we begin to awaken to the unconscious, we face a profound realization. The parts of ourselves we've ignored or repressed don't disappear. They wait for their moment to emerge. These parts are often called the shadow, a term coined by Carl Jung to describe the hidden, often darker aspects of our psyche that we've rejected or denied. The shadow isn't inherently evil. It's simply the parts of us that we deem unacceptable, inconvenient, or too painful to face. It's the anger you suppress, the vulnerability you hide, the fears you refuse to acknowledge. It's all the bits and pieces of you that have been pushed out of sight because they don't fit into the image of who you want to be. But here's the thing. The more you suppress your shadow, the more it controls you from the shadows. It manifests in unexpected ways, in explosive outbursts, in self-sabotaging behavior, in toxic patterns that you can't seem to break. It shows up in the ways you react to others, in the ways you judge yourself, and even in how you feel about the world. The only way to free yourself from this hidden influence is to stop running from it. You must bring it into the light. This process, known as integration, involves acknowledging your shadow and accepting it as part of who you are. It doesn't mean you condone harmful behaviors, but you recognize that these darker aspects of yourself have something valuable to teach you. The anger you've suppressed might be a sign that you need to set boundaries. The vulnerability you hide might be a gateway to deeper connection and authenticity. The dance between the ego, the conscious self we present to the world, and the shadow is ongoing. As you become more aware of these hidden parts, you'll begin to feel the tension between wanting to maintain control, ego, and the urge to integrate what has been left out, shadow. But rather than feeling fragmented, this process of integration brings a profound sense of wholeness. Carl Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is the essence of transformation, embracing all parts of yourself, even the uncomfortable ones. As you continue on this path, you may notice moments of discomfort as old shadows rise to the surface. These moments are not setbacks, they are opportunities to see yourself more clearly. Every time you face a part of your shadow and integrate it, you grow stronger, more resilient, and more authentic. At this point, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect. What aspects of your personality have you been ignoring or rejecting? What parts of you do you hide out of fear or shame? This is where real power begins, in accepting and embracing the full spectrum of who you are. If you found this valuable so far, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe. We're just getting started, and together we'll explore how to reclaim the energy that's been buried in these hidden parts. At this point, you might begin to feel the weight of the journey ahead. Acknowledge that this process of awakening, integration, and self-awareness is not linear. It doesn't happen all at once. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to face discomfort, often over and over again. And yet, every step you take on this path brings you closer to a freedom that most people only dream of. But here's a crucial insight. Freedom doesn't come from controlling everything around you. In fact, the more you try to control the external world, the more you trap yourself. It's a subtle trap, one we all fall into at some point. We believe that if we can control the way people treat us, control our circumstances, or even control our emotions, we'll finally find peace. However, the reality is that control is an illusion. You cannot control how others act, what the future holds, or even your deepest fears. The more you cling to the illusion of control, the more tension, frustration, and anxiety you invite into your life. Carl Jung wisely said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." This powerful quote reminds us that our actions, or more accurately, our responses, define who we truly are. And your response to life, to pain, to the uncontrollable, determines whether you stay trapped in cycles of suffering or break free. True freedom arises when you stop trying to control everything outside of you and instead focus on what you can control, your inner world, how you respond, how you choose to feel, how you choose to act. Your power lies in the awareness of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. It's in choosing how you show up in the world, regardless of what happens around you. This is where the real strength is found. Not in creating armor to protect yourself from life's blows, but in integrating your inner conflicts, embracing your fears, and choosing to act with clarity, not reaction. This is the path to the freedom you seek. It's not about being untouchable. It's about being whole. The moment you begin to accept that you cannot control the uncontrollable, you stop fighting the current of life. You stop resisting. And in this surrender, you find peace. The pain you once feared no longer has power over you because you've stopped running from it. You've learned to stand still in the face of it, knowing that pain is not the enemy, resistance is. I encourage you to pause for a moment and reflect on your life. How much of your energy is spent trying to control things beyond your control? Are you fighting the natural flow of life? It's not easy to let go of the illusion of control, but it's the only way to move forward, to find peace. Before we move on, take a moment to like this video if you're resonating with these insights, and subscribe to continue this journey of self-discovery and inner transformation. The deeper we go, the more clarity we'll uncover. Now that we've explored the importance of accepting pain and the illusion of control, let's dive into the core of transformation: awareness. Awareness is the key that unlocks the door to your true self, to peace, and to liberation. It's the ability to observe your thoughts, emotions, and actions without being controlled by them. Most of us live our lives on autopilot, reacting to the world around us based on old patterns, unconscious triggers, and emotional baggage. We've been conditioned to respond automatically, driven by fears, insecurities, and societal expectations. The result? We become slaves to our emotions and external circumstances, without realizing it. But awareness shifts that dynamic. When you become aware, you step out of the automatic responses and into the driver's seat of your own life. Awareness allows you to observe your feelings, your reactions, and your beliefs from a distance. It doesn't mean you stop feeling or experiencing emotions. It means you stop letting those emotions dictate your behavior and your life. Carl Jung said, "The first step in the process of individuation is to confront the unconscious, the repressed aspects of the self." This confrontation requires awareness. You cannot transform what you do not see. If you're unaware of your emotional triggers or the unconscious beliefs driving your decisions, you remain trapped in old cycles of behavior. But once you shine a light on these hidden aspects of yourself, you can begin to break free from the patterns that have been controlling you. Awareness is the tool that allows you to choose your response to life, instead of merely reacting to it. You start to notice when you're triggered by someone's words or actions. You recognize the old wounds that have been reopened by external circumstances. And you can choose how to respond with clarity and intention rather than from a place of emotional reactivity. This doesn't mean that you'll never feel anger, sadness, or frustration. What it means is that you won't be overwhelmed by these emotions. You won't be ruled by them. You'll have the space to feel, process, and choose your next move consciously. And that, my friend, is real freedom. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. How much of your day is spent on autopilot? How many times have you reacted to someone or something without fully understanding why? This is where true change begins, in the simple act of becoming aware of your own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It's the first step toward taking control of your life and creating the space for conscious action. If this resonates with you, go ahead and give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe to continue this journey of self-awareness and transformation. The more we become aware, the more we step into our true power. As we continue on this journey of self-discovery, we come to one of the most crucial aspects of personal transformation: integrating the shadow. The shadow, as Carl Jung described it, consists of the parts of ourselves that we've rejected, ignored, or suppressed, traits we deem unworthy, shameful, or too painful to acknowledge. But what if I told you that it is not these aspects of ourselves that hold us back, but rather our refusal to face them? Many people go through life running from their shadows, avoiding the pain they carry. We build facades, wear masks, and create personas that hide the parts of ourselves we fear. We think that by ignoring these parts of us, our weaknesses, our flaws, our vulnerabilities, we can live a more acceptable life. But in reality, these suppressed aspects are the very things that keep us stuck. Carl Jung believed that the more the conscious ego identifies with the persona, the less the true self is able to function. This means that by refusing to acknowledge our shadow, we distance ourselves from our true selves. We remain trapped in a false version of who we are, one that doesn't honor our wholeness. The process of integrating the shadow is not easy. It requires us to confront the parts of ourselves that make us uncomfortable, the aspects we've been taught to deny. It means embracing our flaws, our fears, our anger, and our pain, not as something to be ashamed of, but as parts of us that hold valuable lessons. But here's the thing, the shadow doesn't just disappear when we ignore it. It waits. It lurks in the background, influencing our behavior and shaping our decisions. It shows up in our relationships, in our fears, in the way we sabotage ourselves without understanding why. It drives us to seek external validation, to avoid rejection, and to avoid confrontation. But the more we suppress it, the stronger it becomes, until one day it bursts out in ways we can no longer control. The power lies in confronting the shadow with courage. When we integrate these hidden parts of ourselves, we become whole. We no longer run from our pain or try to hide our weaknesses. Instead, we accept them as part of our humanity and recognize their role in our personal growth. This process of integration allows us to live authentically. We stop pretending to be someone we're not. We stop hiding parts of ourselves out of fear of judgment or rejection. We stop seeking external validation to fill the emptiness inside us. We begin to accept ourselves fully and completely, knowing that we are not defined by our flaws, but by how we choose to embrace them. Take a moment to reflect. What aspects of your shadow have you been avoiding? What parts of yourself do you try to hide from the world? These are the parts of you that hold the key to your true freedom. By accepting them, you unlock the door to your authenticity and strength. If this resonates with you, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more insights on how to integrate your shadow and embrace your full self. The more we accept ourselves, the more we empower our transformation. Now that we've explored the power of integrating our shadow and becoming aware of the unconscious forces within us, we come to an important realization. Our energy is our most precious resource, and for far too long, many of us have been giving it away without even realizing it. Whether it's to toxic relationships, unhealthy patterns, or simply reacting to the world around us, our energy is drained without our consent. The truth is, you are not the victim of external circumstances. You are the product of how you choose to respond to those circumstances. And until you recognize the power of your own energy, you will continue to give it away to things that don't serve you. As Carl Jung wisely said, energy follows attention. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're constantly focusing on what others think of you or constantly reacting to external pressures, you're losing your energy to forces beyond your control. But here's the powerful truth. You can take back control. You have the ability to direct your energy where it truly matters. And it starts with making conscious choices about how you engage with the world. When you recognize your own power and stop giving away your energy to everything around you, you reclaim your sovereignty. You stop being a passive participant in life and start being an active creator of your own reality. Reclaiming your energy means setting boundaries. It means learning to say no when you need to, even if it makes others uncomfortable. It means protecting your peace and learning to prioritize yourself. It means choosing who and what deserves your energy and leaving behind what drains you. This is not about becoming cold or detached. It's about becoming selective. Selective with your time, with your emotional availability, and with your mental energy. It's about recognizing that not everything requires your attention, and certainly not everything deserves it. When you start practicing this kind of selective energy management, you'll begin to notice a shift. You'll feel lighter, more focused, and more connected to yourself. You'll stop reacting out of impulse and begin to respond from a place of conscious awareness and intentionality. But reclaiming your energy also means facing the fear of losing others. You might fear that by setting boundaries, you'll alienate people, lose relationships, or be seen as selfish. But the truth is, people who truly respect you will understand and honor your need for space and energy. It is only when you begin to respect yourself first that others will begin to respect you too. And the relationships that remain will be the ones that are authentic, nurturing, and aligned with your true self. Take a moment to reflect. Where are you currently leaking energy in your life? What relationships, situations, or habits are draining you? And how can you start reclaiming that energy for yourself? Remember, it is your life, your energy, and you have the power to choose where it goes. If you're ready to take back your energy and step into your full power, we're just beginning to uncover the path to true empowerment, and together we'll explore how to move forward with confidence and strength. Now that we've discussed the power of reclaiming your energy and the importance of setting boundaries, we must dive deeper into the heart of this journey: vulnerability. In a world that glorifies strength, toughness, and invulnerability, the idea of embracing vulnerability can seem counterintuitive. But here's the truth: vulnerability is not weakness, it is the birthplace of true strength. Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And this acceptance comes with embracing all parts of you: the light and the dark, the strengths and the weaknesses, the joys and the pain. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you stop pretending to be someone you're not. You stop hiding your true self behind a mask of invincibility or perfection. Instead, you choose to stand in your authenticity, raw and unguarded. Vulnerability means being open to your emotions without fear of judgment or rejection. It's about expressing who you truly are without the need to seek approval or validation from others. It's the courage to be seen as you are, not who others want you to be or who you think you should be. It's in this space of openness and authenticity that you experience real connection, not just with others, but with yourself. The paradox of vulnerability is this: when you allow yourself to feel deeply, when you open your heart and mind to all of life's experiences, you actually become stronger. Vulnerability gives you the power to connect with others in a way that is meaningful and genuine. It removes the walls that keep us isolated and fearful, and instead, it builds bridges of understanding, empathy, and trust. But why is this so difficult? Why do we fear being vulnerable? The answer lies in the conditioning we've received throughout our lives. We've been taught to hide our weaknesses, to mask our fears, to put on a brave face and power through everything. We've been taught that vulnerability is something to be ashamed of. But this is an illusion. Vulnerability is the essence of human connection, the key to emotional freedom, and the gateway to authenticity. When you embrace vulnerability, you free yourself from the need to control every situation and every outcome. You stop fearing rejection because you are no longer dependent on external validation. You stop running from your emotions and you start to trust yourself fully. This trust, in turn, builds a resilience that doesn't rely on the absence of pain, but on the ability to feel and process pain without letting it define you. Jung believed that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And becoming who you truly are requires the courage to face your vulnerabilities, accept them, and use them as a source of power. Only when you fully accept yourself, flaws and all, can you step into your authentic self and live with true emotional strength. So I ask you, what parts of you have you been hiding? What vulnerabilities have you been avoiding out of fear or shame? This is where the real journey begins, in embracing your authentic self, without fear, without shame, and without the need for approval. If this resonates with you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. We've only scratched the surface of this powerful journey, and together we will continue to explore how embracing vulnerability leads to true freedom and strength. Now that we've explored vulnerability, energy, awareness, and the integration of our shadows, we've arrived at the final destination: integration. Integration is the process of becoming whole, of bringing together all the fragmented pieces of ourselves. It's about fully accepting every part of who we are: our light, our darkness, our strengths, and our flaws. Carl Jung famously said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But what does it mean to become who you truly are? It means to stop living in reaction to the world around you, to stop allowing your past wounds, fears, and insecurities to dictate your actions. It means embracing all aspects of your being and finding balance within yourself. When we talk about integration, we are not speaking of perfection. We are speaking of wholeness. Integration does not mean you will never face challenges or experience pain, but it means that you no longer allow those challenges to break you. You have already gone through the fire of self-discovery and healing, and now you stand strong in your authenticity. To be integrated is to be unshakable. It is to face life's trials and not be swayed by them, because you have made peace with yourself. You are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances or the opinions of others. You know who you are, and that is enough. This journey of integration is not easy. It requires constant self-awareness, self-reflection, and the courage to confront the parts of ourselves we'd rather avoid. But the rewards are immense. When you integrate your shadow, your fears, and your vulnerabilities, you gain a deep, unshakable sense of inner peace and power. True strength comes from the ability to stand in your authenticity, even when the world around you is chaotic. It is not the absence of pain or difficulty, but the ability to remain grounded and centered despite it. This strength is the foundation of emotional immunity, the power to remain true to yourself no matter what happens. Now, I want you to think about your own life. What parts of yourself have you been avoiding? What aspects of your personality have you been hiding out of fear or shame? It's time to bring those parts into the light, to integrate them, and to stand in your full power. You are not broken. You are whole just as you are. And it's through embracing all of who you are that you become unshakable. As we reach the end of this journey, I want to leave you with one final thought. True freedom comes from the integration of all parts of yourself. When you accept your vulnerabilities, your flaws, your pain, and your strength, you unlock the power to live a life of authenticity and peace. If you found value in this video, and if you are ready to continue this journey of integration and self-discovery, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep walking this path together. Remember, your journey does not end here. It is ongoing, and every step you take towards integration brings you closer to the unshakable strength and freedom you've been seeking. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.